Good morning. Good morning. All right, we're going to
Good
give
afternoon.
hello. Welcome. All right, we're
Thank you.
going to give it just a couple of minutes. I know we had some other people signed up for today. Actually, we have quite a few people signed up for today. So,
Yay.
so how is everybody this morning or this afternoon?
Good, thank you. And yourself?
Absolutely wonderful. What time is it where you're at, Sarah?
It's 5 o'clock, late afternoon.
So you're quite a bit ahead of us. Or
Yeah.
yeah, you're ahead, right? Okay.
I'm, I'm 6 hours ahead of Eastern
And where are you?
in Spain.
You are in, that's right, Spain. I remember now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
It's so neat that we can do something like this and you can be there
Absolutely.
and we can be here.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
sometimes it's still just so amazing to me that we have these kind of opportunities now.
Isn't it just?
I know. I mean, like you watch the movies from back in the 80s and stuff, and they talked about things like this, and you were like, oh wow, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
here we
and how are you, Dharma?
Doing. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. Good.
all right, just a couple more minutes and we will get started because I'm trying to honor everyone's time and schedule here. Feeling good today. I'm feeling really good. Although I'm very relaxed today, if that makes any sense. Like it's not my energy's bad, it's just very calm and relaxed today.
Fabulous.
So, which is usually when people start asking me, "Are you okay? Is everything okay?" Because I'm
Yeah.
usually so much louder and so much like bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, I'm just fine. Just the energy's just calmer today."
Yeah. The full moon's passing by.
Yes, exactly. Finally out of our space.
Yeah. It was heavy.
Yes, I thought so too. It was extremely heavy this time. Um,
And yet I've spoken to people who said, "Oh, suddenly I feel calm." I'm like, "Wow, I feel so anxious."
it hits us all differently, just like
Yeah,
everything else, right?
absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, CEOs, welcome back to day 2 of the Aligned Conversations Summit. If you're just joining us today, I'm your host, Bunny MD, your guide through this sacred convergence. I created this summit because I personally know what it feels like to outgrow your old story, to crave alignment that doesn't just change your business, but sort of rewires it in your whole life. And I promise you, every single conversation here is designed to be more than just knowledge, it's activation. Day 1 was absolutely incredible. We opened with the roundtable, a CEO council that lit the room on fire with ideas and breakthroughs. Then Kim Parkinson ran us through, she's our podcast growth coach and expert, and she dropped three key steps to boost your podcast growth and so she talked about metrics in this fall, and like right now is the perfect time to be posting on your podcast, things like that. So you do not want to go back, you do want to go back, you do not want to miss it. Catch the replays, they'll be up. We had Zoom gave me a little bit of a snafu, but they're in there now. I had a little bit of a last night when the videos were not there. I reached out to Zoom. They've got it straightened out. They finally got the videos into my account this morning. Whew, right? Because that was a fire. And I was like, what? So I was so glad to be able to get that straightened out. And then we had Samantha Went, who is our prophetic restoration healer. And she took us through emotional concussion, the hidden fog to your identity. And she gave us the language for the invisible bruise, is what she called it, that's been holding so many CEOs back. And in that moment, alignment got really, really personal. So you're not going to want to miss any of the replays if you weren't with us live, right? But the energy is still there. So day one, cracked the door open. Day two, threshold, right? Let's anchor in together, hand on your heart. Oh, yeah. Feel that rhythm. Really feel that rhythm. It's not just your heartbeat, it's the drum of alignment. Take a breath with me. Inhale like you're pulling down fire. Oh, yeah. And exhale like you're burning away the cages you've outgrown. Again, in with freedom and out with any of that fear that's holding you back. And let me be clear, this is not Netflix, okay? This is prophecy disguised as a summit. So keep your camera on if you can, right? Mute your mic and blaze that chat like it's our altar. Every insight, every aha, every tear, that's fuel for us all. Now let's talk about what's waiting for you today, because today's lineup is stacked. We're going to start out with Sarah Dawkins, holistic health coach. She's bringing us You're Not Broken, You're Healing Something Generational. Definite, don't miss. Kate Allison, our book writing coach and editor, is here with Influence to Impact, 3 steps to write your business boosting book. Renee Coster, she's got our backs with learning. She's our learning designer and strategist, sharing Rooted and Ready, turning chaos into clarity with one aligned course. Excuse me, turn chaos. I'm just tripping over words. My calm is almost too calm this morning. All right. Lori Baines, transformational brand strategist and designer, is going to deliver for you for real when your brand no longer reflects your brilliance and how to bridge that gap. I don't know about you, but I've been there. And I've been there for all of these. Like I'm just so excited to have these women speaking today, right? CEOs yesterday's was sort of like an initiation. Today, we step into activation. Today, wisdom stops being an idea and starts coding itself into your bones. So let me ask you, are you ready to let yourself be changed today? Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is where everything gets so real for me. Having put this together and having had this opportunity has been just such a blessing in my life. And I just have such gratitude. And I am so excited to open the door this morning. Loves, it's time for someone who's going to remind you that healing doesn't mean broken. It means power. Sarah Dawkins is a holistic health coach with a heart as big as her wisdom. A few weeks ago, she attended my confidence calibration masterclass, and afterward she said, "This was so good, so actionable, and my projector self felt seen and heard." And that's Sarah's through and through. She knows the power of being seen, understood, and healed at the deepest levels. She helps entrepreneurs and everyday souls alike recognize that their struggles aren't flaws, they're invitations to heal at the root, often in ways that span generations. Her talk today is raw, real, and revolutionary. You're not broken. You're healing something generational. So open your heart, because Sarah's about to deliver a message that can shift not just your business, but your entire legacy. All right. Hello.
Hi, Bunny, and thank you for having me. It's so great to be here with you.
It is great to be here with you as well. Beautiful. All right. I'm trying to get us all adjusted here. Okay. I am so glad you're here. Thank you. So let's get ready. We're going to jump right in with some questions. I have the same questions for each one of our speakers, but then we're going to roll into that beautiful presentation that you brought for us that I know is going to be gold. So first, Sarah, tell me, what inspired you to start your business and what was the very first step you took to bring it to life?
I was a registered nurse in a hospital. And after one of my colleagues challenged my core belief about healing, needing doctors and pills and hospitals, I went away and did some research. And then I started acting on that research and healing my own body. And then I started seeing tangible results, things that I didn't know was possible because I was raised in that medical model. So all of this, your body heals itself, your mind is so powerful, knew nothing about that, totally bought in. So as I started my own healing, I became disaligned or unaligned with nursing because we were keeping people in that sick role in the hospital, reliant on procedures and medicines and doctors. And although I could help them get washed and help them to walk across the floor and be supportive with them, I was still ultimately keeping them in the sick role. And because of my nursing standards, I wasn't really allowed to talk about alternative therapies, treatments, what they could do for themselves. So I was living a double life, one at home naturally, and then one in the hospital doing what I was told. And I became so conflicted. I spiraled into a dark depression, had suicidal thoughts. It was awful, and stayed there for 3 years. And it was as I was healing that my husband said, "Why don't you set up your own business?" I'm like, wow, what does that even look like? I've never even thought about setting my own business up. So I went to university where I'd done my master's. They were running a graduate entrepreneurship program. So I took classes on how to be a business person and what it involved and entailed. And I set up my first business. But it was a real leap of faith stepping away from the hospital and into entrepreneurship. But I was still a nurse because my whole identity was aligned with nursing. And, I had that, well, who am I if I'm not a nurse? And I couldn't answer that question. And I was very successful in that business, but I was still doing things that required my registration. I was doing medical legal work. I was doing DNA sampling. I became a trainer for all healthcare workers at all levels to do the mandatory annual updates on everything. So I was going into hospitals, but not working with patients, only working with the staff. So I was no longer giving out medicines and following doctor's orders. I was subcontracting to all these companies. So it was a real leap of faith that I stepped away from the hospital into that. But ultimately, I was still a nurse. And although I wasn't as conflicted because I was no longer following those doctor's orders, I still had some conflict because every year I had to sign the register to say I uphold the nursing standards. And yet I was still living this double life outside of the hospital. So that, and plus I'd started my own healing, written my book, Heal Yourself, and knew a lot more with the research I'd done and reading other people's stories. Although I was a successful entrepreneur in that business, I no longer aligned with being a nurse, even though my business was successful. So I trained as a coach and then closed that first business down and actually surrendered my nursing license. It took me 2 years of headspace to actually understand who I was authentically, to be able to close my business down and terminate my nursing license so I can no longer go back to nursing. But actually, although it took me so long to take that decision and do it, I've never looked back. I was so worried for something that actually never happened.
I love that. We're very aligned here, you and I. I also a nurse, also gave up my license, also couldn't get with the program with traditional Western medicine being the only answer. I do believe it has its place. Um, but I do absolutely believe in healing ourselves. I did the same thing with myself, healed my own body, and have helped others. This is amazing. I feel you on so many levels. We have so much in common when it comes to why we stepped out of the nursing role. We share a lot of the same reasoning. So tell me, looking back, what was that the turning point or breakthrough, as it were, that really shifted you from just getting started out in this new business to actually gaining traction?
So my first few clients, when I invited people that I knew to be my clients for free if they would give me a testimonial. Because although I'd healed myself and read about healing, writing my book, and the people, all different things, different types of healing, um, and all the research I'd done and all the books I'd read, I was still a bit of a self-saboteur. So I invited friends to allow me to coach them in return for a testimonial. And the more I worked with those, the more I'm thinking, my God, look at them. They're getting it. They're understanding it. They're healing these conditions that have been chronic for them. And they're understanding why, what the message is in that pain, what the message is in that eczema, to be able to heal themselves with just the power of their mind by understanding where it's coming from and then working with that with my support. And that, to see their faces when they go, wow, it was, that is why I do what I do, to see the look on my clients' faces.
That's amazing, right? I mean, and I know in any coach, when your client is successful, you light up. I mean, that you, because that's why you're in it. You're in it to see them win. And healing, if that's not a win, I don't know what is, right? When you actually heal something in your body, especially like you're the answer, you are who they go to normally, right? I may be wrong here, but for myself, I know I'm usually their last resort. They've tried everything and they're now ready to try the woo woo, is what they call it, is what a lot of times what we call it here in the States. I don't know what you call it, but here we call it woo woo, the woo woo factor. And usually I am the last person that's reached out to, unless they're of course already in this realm. But like usually it's people that have gone down every road with Western medicine. I feel like they're banging their head against the wall, and then they come to you, right? And now you get to say, all right, let me show you where it's really coming from. Let's get down on a level that no one in Western medicine was ever going to take with you, the trip that no one was going to take with you, and I'm going to, right? That is powerful. So powerful, Sarah. You are making such a difference. And then your book, right? Heal. Oh, yes,
Heal
heal yourself.
yourself.
Heal
Yeah.
yourself, right? Sorry, I just saw heal behind you, and like, and that alone is enough, right? It's heal yourself, but yes, amazing. So tell me, what was one of the biggest challenges you faced scaling your business? And what did it teach you about being a CEO? Remember, we're sharing this with our audience who are people that are building their businesses, right? And they really want to know from you, um, what that looked like. What was the biggest challenge you faced?
Um, Imposter syndrome.
And
As more clients came on board and started paying me, I could see their transformation, and I could see that they were getting it. And I didn't, it's not me telling them. I like to for them to find it out themselves. But every now and then I go, "Am I really cut out to do this? Am I asking the right questions? And can I charge more money for this?" And that imposter syndrome really crept in, periodically. Some days I'd be absolutely fine and work with it, and then other days I'm like, I don't know if I can charge that. And it was like this back and two, back and two. And every now and then, now even now, I sometimes get a wave of, "Is that right?" It's just, it's my ego. I know what it is. It's my ego coming from all those voices in my childhood trying to protect me from failure. But at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, I acknowledge you're there. Thank you for trying to help me. But actually, do you know what? I've got it now. I can do it now.
yes, yes, love it, love it, love it. Exactly. Thank you. No, thank you. I I know what you're trying to do. I appreciate that, but let's not.
Yes.
I really am ready to take this step. Thank you so much. Right? Because that's all that is it's protection mode kicking in. It's protection mode
Yeah.
that tells us stay safe, get small. So because it's safe when you're small. It's not true, but that's what it tells us because when we're children, that a lot of that is what we're taught. Stay small, stay quiet, stay safe. And so stays with us, right, Sarah? I mean, I'm sure you go through this with a lot of your clients, right? A lot of that same kind of ideal. What's sitting in that subconscious mind is what's driving a lot of what's going on in the body, if not all of it. A lot of people would disagree with me, but there it is. All right. So what was one of the biggest, oh, sorry. We just did that one. So who or what kind of support made the biggest difference in helping you move from that challenge into success?
My husband's backing. Yeah, he was the one that said, set up your own business and go it alone. And he's always been there saying, you know, do what you want to do, and make it your own. And sometimes he challenges me, you know, with a question and just say, what was that all about? And you know, where's that coming from? Like, oh, okay, so I'll just check myself. Oh no, it's right. Or oh, actually, yeah, there's something a bit deeper in that. I need to go away and look at that. So yeah, he's my biggest fan.
I love that. That's amazing. Husband of the Year award right here, right now. Yes, no, really, that is amazing. I love hearing about people that have partners that are supportive because we hear so often about people that have partners that are like, you're going to do what? Like, what? What are you crazy? Like, right? And then I love that he also speaks your speak. Like, where's that coming from? You know, and helping you identify, is this real? Is this something you need to listen to? Is this something you need to step away? My husband's the same way. He now says things like, is this the most positive way you could be saying that? Or things like that. Like, you know what I mean? He'll sort of help me censor at times. He'll say, is that really going to help you get that done? That particular way of thinking, you know, things like that. And I'll be like, okay, all right, you got me. So I love that. That is amazing. That is fabulous. And when it's at home, it's even better, right? Because we can wake up, go to sleep, spend our day knowing we're supported and loved. And that is such a gift. Good job, hubby. Good job.
Thank you. But it's taken, you know, over the years, I've just thrown little snippets out, just planted seeds along the way.
Beautiful. All right. If you could go back and give your earlier CEO self just one piece of advice about alignment, growth, or success, what would it be?
Let go of other people's opinions, because that's all they are, other people's opinions. If you see some validity in somebody's opinion, or if you value that person, then sit with that and see if that resonates with you. But at the end of the day, everybody's got their own opinion. And my family, my parents, my siblings, aunts and uncles, thought I was crazy, still think I'm crazy. But, you know, I continue to do what I do because I believe in it. And I don't allow their opinions to stop me doing what I do.
I love what you said about if it's someone that feels important to you, take a moment and sit with it. It doesn't mean you have to own it, but take a
No.
moment and sit with it and then decide, is there truth in it or not? That is such a powerful exercise because a lot of times we just immediately take it to heart. It hurts and we go, oh my gosh, and we start to shut down and now we don't want to talk to that person anymore, or whatever the case might be, right? It just depends on what was said. But I love that you say just take a moment, pause. Like if especially if it's someone important to you, right? Because it doesn't make their words factual. It doesn't. Sometimes it's their own reflection of what they have going on. It can be jealousy. It can just be misunderstanding. They don't understand what you're doing, things like that. But it still doesn't mean we don't need to process that comment, that opinion, because a lot of times when we let those opinions stack instead of actually confronting them and saying, is there truth in this? Instead, all we go is, well, that person said this and that person said that. And oh my gosh. And now we're starting to get to freak out mode because we're starting to stack it all up instead of having dealt with it in that moment and saying yes or no, there's truth in that opinion, and then either acting upon it or releasing it, or both if necessary.
Yeah.
So that
It's
is,
about discernment.
yes, that is solid advice. I love that. Thank you, Sarah. That, I write that one down. That is gold right there. Always remember, you get to choose how you're going to react to someone else's opinions. And in that pause, excuse me, you can make that choice and with discernment, right? So tell me, what one aligned practice, habit, or mindset do you believe every entrepreneur needs if they want to hit 6, 7, 8 figures without burning out?
A quote that got me through my dark times and I still live by is by Henry Ford. And it's a mindset shift. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So if you want to stay where you are, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to keep moving forwards and advancing, start stepping out and doing something different.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. Great quote. And it's, well, it's still true, right? Like, it holds truth. You keep doing what you're doing, guess what? Right? So, all right. So you've chosen to share with us today, You're Not Broken, You're Healing Something Generational, as your presentation.
Yeah.
So why was this the piece that you felt CEOs watching today needed to hear most right now?
Because oftentimes we can feel broken. Things go wrong and we can take it to heart, especially if we're not having a good day. And we've got within our own DNA, we've got the DNA of all of our ancestors. And ancestral trauma is passed down through the generations. And it depends which books you read. Some say 7 years, some say 7 generations, some say 14. So, when we look at what's going right versus what's going not right, in air quotes, in our lives, is it really ours to own? Or is it something that we're carrying in our DNA that's not ours to own? So it's about being compassionate with ourselves and bringing a little bit more self-awareness that actually what we're carrying is likely not even ours, because in years gone by, people weren't advised to self-reflect and be self-aware, and it was a case of, well, shit's happened, excuse the French. Just suck it up, buttercup, and keep going. Push it down, do whatever you've got to do, and just keep moving forwards. Whereas now we're a lot more self-aware, and that self-awareness helps us to see what's really going on. And is this that we're feeling even ours to own, to hold? So I'm bringing this today to help people to see that actually whatever's going on in their life might not be a reflection of them. It might be some of the generational trauma just coming up to be healed. Because as things come up and we feel, we see, we know, we sense, it's coming up for a reason, because our subconscious, our higher self, knows that we're at a position where we can work through this and work with it. And we need to be compassionate with ourselves to decipher, is it actually ours or is it generational? And can we work with it through unconditional love and heal it?
Love that. All right. Here comes the reminder you needed all along. You're not broken, you're healing. Sarah's going to show us how.
Hi there,
Ooh,
I'm Sarah.
we'd like to see it first, wouldn't we? It would sure be helpful if we could see it. Just one moment. There we go. They keep, is it just me, or do they move around the buttons on YouTube? I'm always trying to, like, searching desperately for buttons that I feel like aren't there at times. Okay, let's see. Where did it go? Let's try this one more time. There we go. There we go. Perfect.
Hi there, I'm Sarah. Let me guess. You've done the right things, the affirmations, the diet, the therapy. And no matter how well you do health, something deep inside of you aches deep down that you can't quite touch, something you can't quite name. And you wonder, is it just me? I'm here to tell you that no, it's not just you. And you, my friend, are not broken. You're healing something that was never yours to carry in the first place. There was a time when I thought healing meant having the right protocols, the right supplements, and the right diagnosis. Because as a nurse for 20 years, I was respected, capable, dedicated. And I followed the medical model, fix the symptoms, control the body, medicate the mind. And on the outside of it, I looked like I had it all handled. I ticked all those boxes of success, career, check, home, check, respect, check. I didn't feel like myself because I wasn't myself. Behind the scenes, I was actually burning out. My body was screaming with autoimmune disease, depression, pain, and deep emotional exhaustion. And instead of slowing down, I doubled down and pushed harder, worked more, and cared for everybody else while ignoring myself. And I kept thinking, if I can just fix this symptom, I'll be fine. But the more I tried to fix, the more broken I felt. And here's the thing, I wasn't broken. I was disconnected. I was a version of me built for survival, not for truth. And that's when everything changed. I stopped trying to fix myself and I started listening to the parts of me I've been silencing, the parts that were hurt, the parts that were angry, the parts that just needed to be heard without being medicated or managed. And the moment I gave myself permission to heal holistically, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, everything shifted. I began to heal chronic health issues that had plagued me for decades, autoimmune conditions, pain, exhaustion, addictions, things that my doctor told me I would have to manage, in air quotes, forever. These started to dissolve when I stopped outsourcing my healing and started listening within. Healing stopped being about protocols and it started becoming about presence. It wasn't another supplement. It wasn't another diet. It was an inner remembering. And that remembering pulled me into a completely different path. I left my job in a hospital, a world I'd known for decades, and chose a new life as an entrepreneur. I poured my heart into writing a book, sharing not only my own story of healing, but 74 other incredible people's healing journeys. My intention was simple, but profound. To prove that healing does happen, no matter what you've been told by your doctor. Your body and soul hold far more wisdom and potential than you've ever been led to believe. And from there, my journey stretched even further. I started a podcast, despite having crippling camera anxiety that almost stopped me in my tracks. But you know, my message was bigger. It was bigger than my fear. And my message is this, that healing is possible. And I want to reach as many people as I can, especially those who feel stuck or helpless or like it's too late for them. Because the truth is, it's never too late. We can start healing and growing and making radical changes to our lives at any age. Healing isn't bound by time, it's bound by willingness. And with each story I shared, each interview, and each page of my book, I realized something powerful. What was possible for me, and possible for my guests on my podcast, and possible for the authors in my book, is absolutely possible for you too. And along the way, I was recognized with multiple awards for the work I've done. But the real reward for me has been the clients whose lives have shifted when they've realized that their symptoms aren't the enemy too. They were messages. And my soul had been trying to reroute me back to my wholeness. And the only way that I heard it, it was written in pain because I wasn't listening and I didn't understand. And maybe that's true for you too. What if the fatigue you feel isn't failure? It's just your body begging for rest. What if the anxiety you feel isn't weakness, but your soul asking you to stop abandoning yourself? And I realized my breakthrough wasn't in doing more, it was in feeling more and being radically honest with myself, allowing the mess, the mystery, and also the magic. The real medicine wasn't out there. It was already inside me, waiting for me to stop fighting myself and start listening. And here's the part that really gave me goosebumps. When I healed myself, I wasn't just healing me, I was breaking patterns that my family had carried for generations. Patterns of silence, patterns of self-abandonment, and patterns of survival. And that's when I say to you, you're not broken, you're the turning point. So I want to invite you into a little reflection and ask yourself, what are you still editing that could be aligned? What are you trying to fix when your body is simply asking you to feel? What if you don't need to fight for healing, but surrender to it? If any part of this stirred something inside you, trust it. Don't overthink it. Don't push it away. The stirring is your healing beginning. So don't rush to make sense of it. Just breathe into it. And think, what if your healing isn't actually ahead of you, but it's already happening now that you're listening? Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming home to the person that you've always been. And my message to you is, you're not broken. You, my friend, are breaking cycles. You are the turning point in your lineage. The storm isn't here to destroy you. It's here to lead you home to your center. The medicine never was outside you. It was always you. So stop searching externally for the cure and start becoming the healer that you have been waiting for. You're not broken. You're healing something generational.
Beautiful. That was so powerful. Let me just get back here. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Fabulous, Sarah.
Thank you. And I didn't mention my free gift in my talk.
I was just about to ask you if you could tell us just a little bit about it.
So my free gift is finding the calm in the chaos. It's a meditation on the proviso of a hurricane, that the hurricane is all the chaos around us, and we can sit in the eye of the hurricane, where for those who maybe not aware, and I wasn't until we went through one we went through Katrina and Wilma in Florida, that the eye of the hurricane is totally calm and still. So the meditation is to help people to come back to that stillness and essentially imagine themselves sitting in the eye of a hurricane. So the chaos can go on around them, but they extricate themselves and come into the middle, into the calm.
That sounds lovely. I will be partaking of that myself.
Thank
That
you.
sounds fabulous. So good, Sarah. Thank you for showing us that healing is power, not brokenness.
Thank you so much, Bunny.
That one is definitely going to stick with us. And don't forget, just like she was telling you about her freebie right now, you can grab that inside of Bunny's blessing box. And she'll also, all of her links to connect with her will be there as well, so that you can get in touch with her. So if you need to heal yourself, you'll want to reach out. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. And just coming and sharing with us, being with us yesterday at the roundtable, being with us here today, and hopefully again tomorrow.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Thank you. All right. We are going to take about a 10 to 13-minute break. And before our next speaker. All right, so I'm going to give you a chance to go ahead and run to the restroom, do anything that you might need to do. Just stand up, move that body, be sure you're moving it. Don't forget water, water, water. Hydration is your friend. And not to mention it moves that energy and keeps that body going, the brain functioning, things like that. People automatically think coffee, think water. Water actually wakes up your brain as much as coffee does. Hydration is key. All right, my loves, I'll see you back here in about 10 to now 12 minutes. Okay.